to match. Strategy means nothing now. The balance of this race will be decided by pure speed.
Andre Lotterer, 347 laps completed, 12.3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field, led by Simon Pagenaud. This is honest to goodness drama, excitement all the way to the end, with Andre Lotterer still only leading by 13 seconds.
I know, and anything can happen.
I'm really nervous.
It's horrible. I don't want to be, to be honest.
With under 10 minutes remaining in the race, one mistake, no matter how minute, could end any chance for victory. The pressure is stifling. Lotterer handles it by calmly extending his lead.
The gap has gone out to 17.7 seconds.
It hasn't gone up through one big jump. It's just been tickle, tickle, tickle. Every lap, a little bit quicker, a little bit quicker.
Who's writing the script for this? Will you tell them to turn the drama level down to maybe 11 or 12 out of 10?
Andre, stay cool. It's one more lap. One more lap.
And we still hold our breath on the final lap, which will be a full-speed final lap. There's about 7.5 miles still to run.
The 2011 24 Hours of Le Mans has come down to the final 3.5 minutes. One flawless lap is all that separates Audi from victory. In years past, the Audi crew would line up along the pit wall, celebrating the win. But not this year. This race is far too close for ceremony, and the entire team stays in the garage. "24 hours are in the books. Red Sonja rules the Circuit de la Sarthe."
There's 4 Peugeots behind, but there's 4 rings on the top of the podium at Le Mans 2011.
The number 2 Audi takes the checkered flag by just over 13 seconds. It's Audi's 10th win in a dozen years.
You go through the line and then boom, suddenly all your emotions come. You're like, wow, we made it, fantastic. When you watch the images after, you just have to cry a little bit because it's just so much, so intense.
For me, it was a mental roller coaster with the perfect finish.
This was the nicest moment in my career, almost in my life, I would say.
Yeah, this is getting goosebumps now. It's an amazing feeling to win Le Mans. You know, it's you enter in the history of the best drivers.
I was really, really happy, and then I cried. So I was, yeah, like a baby.
It's a whole year's worth of work that culminates in 24 hours of racing. It was a really big moment, I think.
Big is an understatement. The 2011 Le Mans is historic. Lena Gade is the first woman ever to win the race as lead engineer.
When she found herself alone with her car and the drivers fighting the 3 Peugeots, I think the pressure on her was immense, but still at the end, it was her that had to manage it, to work it out perfect. I'm very proud on her.
H had said over the radio that he was really proud of me and I'd done a really good job. Everything I've learned from him, but also knowing that I guess I hadn't let him down because he'd taken a real gamble pushing me forward to be a race engineer. So it was a little bit emotional.
It's just incredible, you know. It's difficult to realize, but it was a very hard race with a very strong competitor, and it makes the race even better and the win even better.
In only their second year together as an Audi team, Ben Trellier, Andre Lotterer, and Marcel Fassler have made their mark. They are now and forever champions. 13.854 seconds. Not a lot of time, but time enough to stand atop the racing world, to savor a hard-fought victory, and to never forget that at Le Mans, every second counts. You don't win Le Mans, you outlast it. For the past decade, no team has endured its challenge more than Audi.
The number 2 car looking awfully strong.
Side by side in the inside run. Oh, Christensen.
He's got to come in this lap.
Go. That could be the deciding moment in this motor race.
These tires are perfect. Now we are talking.
Capello, Christensen, McNish, victorious at Le Mans. You did it, dude.
The French village of Le Mans first hosted its 24-hour endurance race in 1923. It was an audacious idea in an unlikely place. The race would be a 24-hour trial designed to push man and machine to their limit, sometimes beyond it. Le Mans is where careers are made and legends are born. Win here and become an icon. In 2011, Le Mans will test Audi like never before. Courage, not kilometers, will be a measure of their effort. A new chapter in the race's history is written. New heroes emerge, and every second counts. Every great race requires a great rivalry. For Audi, that adversary is the French automaker, Peugeot.
To race with a Peugeot it's really great because they are really fighters.
You need strong competitors in the race, and if you can win against strong competitors, I think the value of our victory is much, much higher.
But its roots were first laid almost 20 years ago. After back-to-back wins in 1992 and 93, Peugeot did not race a factory team at Le Mans for over a decade. At the turn of the century, Audi burst onto the scene and won 6 out of 7 races, staking their claim to the French circuit. Finally, in 2007, Peugeot defended its home track, and a rivalry was born. Audi entered 2009 confident they would win a 6th straight title. But after years of dominance, Audi was reminded that Le Mans plays no favorites. Peugeot took advantage of Audi's struggles and claimed the top 2 spots on the podium.
Spoke to Ralf Juttner about when do you start thinking about next year. He said tomorrow. It takes 12 months of planning to win this race.
Humbled and with a renewed vigor, the German Mark entered the 2010 race as the underdog. It was the first time in 7 years an Audi car would not bear the #1 on its flank. But any thoughts of Audi's demise were premature. By race's end, one of Le Mans' great champions was back on top. The #9 car, driven by Mike Rockenfeller, Timo Bernhard, and Romain Dumas, finished with a course record 397 laps, and Audi swept the podium. With the victory, they added another chapter to their storied legacy.
Yes, there are manufacturers that achieved more victories in Le Mans, but none did it in such a compressed period of time. The intensity of wins from Audi in these years is on a level that nobody else ever achieved. And we always tried to continue to improve, and we always found a way to improve.
In 2011, improvement came in the form of a new car, the Audi R18 TDI. Regulation changes by the ACO made downsizing their engine necessary.
We had to cut down from a 5.5-litre V10 to a 3.7 V6. Uli Beretsky, our engine guru, he came up with the best overall concept, not just for the engine, but for the whole car.
We make smaller engines, but we make not weaker engines. We just make engines which are more efficient, so they use the fuel better than the others did. But for a driver, they have no lack in performance.
To complement the smaller engine, the design team built a more balanced race car using Audi ultra-lightweight technology.
We needed a highly efficient car from aerodynamics to run fast on the straights and have even enough downforce in the corners. So the R18 is, after many years, the first close car that we have developed for the 24-hour race.
It's nice to sit in terms of the buffeting, means that the head is more or less still. The air goes over you, and in that sense you feel a good sensation inside the car.
It definitely feels better to have a roof protecting your head.
We always try to be on the highest level of safety with our race cars possible. And when we took the decision to make a closed car, we have seen a chance to do a very special, strong monocoque out of one shell and not out of two shells, bonded together like all the others.
The unique one-piece design yielded a stronger yet lighter survival cell, one that will shelter drivers in case of an accident. The Audi engineers made the R18 safe, and if you ask the drivers, even slightly stylish.
To be in that car, you know, when you see pictures sometime and you see, wow, I am the guy who's driving that car, that's cool.
Audi will field 3 nearly identical R18s for the 2011 race. 3 cars means 3 teams of drivers. The race's defending champions will pilot car number 1. Timo Bernhard, Romain Dumas, and Mike Rockenfeller. Before his win in 2010, Rockenfeller's history with the track was, well, rocky.
Devastation for the Audi team. Young Mike Rockenfeller has crashed the R10 heavily.
It took 3 years for Rocky to finally earn redemption.
When you stand on that podium, it's hard to describe, and yeah, I hope I will have it again.
It's a feeling that the drivers of the number 3 car are familiar with. They are practically a Le Mans all-star team. Dindo Capello, Tom Christensen, and Alan McNeish have 13 wins among them. Capello has been with Audi Sport since its first Le Mans. His extensive resume boasts 3 victories. McNeish, lightning quick and relentless, has won the race twice. Christensen has won the race 8 times, earning him the nickname Mr. Le Mans.
7 victories, a record 7 now becomes 8. Tom Christensen extends his record-winning run at Le Mans.
The number 2 car will be piloted by last year's second-place finishers. In only their second year together as an Audi team, Marcel Fassler, Benoit Trillier, and André Lotterer are quickly making their mark. Individually, they've won races all over the world, but this is Le Mans, and they have something to prove.
For sure the pressure is there, you know, Le Mans is one of the biggest races in the world, and really don't want to mess it up.
The drivers aren't the only ones in the crucible. An army of engineers and mechanics must be perfect in its own right.
In addition to the drivers, of course, look at the team behind each car. With the 3 car, with McNish, Dindo and Tom, you've got Howden. He has got all of the experience. And, of course, he's won the race before. The 2 other lead engineers, they are not as experienced in terms of leading a team.
I started with Audi in 2007 as an assistant engineer to Howden Haynes. Prior to meeting H, I'd never done anything at this level. I'd done analysis before, but on nothing like this kind of car.
I've treated Lena like an apprentice, you could say. You know, you want to bring people in, I would say bring young people in, but she's actually older than me, but, you know, you bring someone up from the beginning and sort of turn them into a race engineer that we feel we need, you know. We felt that she was ready to take on that role of lead engineer of her own car.
The decision to elevate Lena was ultimately made by Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, the head of Audi Sport. Over the last 12 years, Dr. Ulrich has built a Le Mans dynasty. From the outside, he appears a stern figure, but his icy glare hides a deep passion for his racing team.
The general impression people get is of a very cold, regimented individual. He likes things to be precise. He's motivated to win without question.